Aloha team, today we're going to talk about case study number 3, managing supply chain complexity in a tea manufacturing company. Supply chain configuration and flow of products and information. So Tehindo's supply chain is complex with supply players. We have the farmers, processors, packaging, distributors, and retailers, and very heavy reliance on information flow. Disruptions in one link ripple throughout the chain. So the solution is to continue operating with fragmented communication systems. Build a centralized IT system for real-time coordination and demand sharing. It is recommended to implement an integrated digital platform that connects suppliers, processors, and distributors to synchronize production and demand forecasting. This reduces bottlenecks and improves visibility. Now let's talk about the bottle goteth versus bottle te supply chain challenges. The problem here is that both product lines face unique challenges. Goteth requires bottle flavorings and color logistics, making it more vulnerable to disruptions, while tea is simpler but still faces forecasting issues and long export lead times. We found, or one of the solution is to treat both products the same with a single standardized process. We can develop product specific supply chain strategies, and in matter of fact, the recommendation could be to adopt a different approach, focus on logistics and packaging resilience for gottets, while investing in better demand forecasting and export planning for tech. All right, now we have the causes of temporary demand increases at Tehindo. The problem is that promotions, cultural events, sudden export orders, and seasonal spikes cause temporary surges in demand, which destabilize production in inventory. The solution is to rely on reactive measures, ramping up production last minute. Proactivity forecasts demand spikes using historical sales, event calendars, and social media trends. It is recommended to use predictive analytics and sales event coordination to anticipate demand spikes and prepare production capacity ahead of time. All right. So in here we have two things, the operational improvement for Tehindo and the strategic and long-term initiatives. Volatility in demand, limited flexibility in production, and weak supplier coordination reduce Tehindo's competitiveness. Now, the alternative solution is that short-term fixes like temporary labor or emergency sources, long-term cultural improvements in forecasting suppliers, contracts, and logistics. Recommendations is to take a combined approach. Short-term, maintain safety stock and flexible production lines. Long-term, develop stronger supplier contracts, invest in IT systems, and expand partnerships with third-party logistic providers. All right, in this slide, we're talking about information distortion in Tehindo's supply chain. The bullwhip effect causes as well demand changes at the retail level to become exaggerated upstream, leading to inefficiencies. What will be a solution? To continue relying on distributors' bulk orders as demand signals, share point of sale and sales trends data across all supply chain partners, recommendation is to implement collaborative forecasting and planning with retailers and distributors, so decisions are based on real customer demand instead of inflated signals. All right, reducing information distortion. Here we have a problem, and is the lack of coordination creates excess inventory and shortage. The alternative solution is to keep supply chain decisions siloed within each partner. Establish joint forecasting and planning processes like CPFR, collaborative planning, forecasting, and replenishment. It is recommended to adopt CPFR practices, encourage transparency, and invest in a shared IT platform to ensure consistent, accurate demand signals. Okay, so now we have vertical integrations versus outsourcing. So Tehindo must balance control if it's of its supply chain with cost efficiency. The solution in a vertical integration is to have full control over farming and processing, but costly and less flexible. The outsourcing, cost saving and flexibility, but less control and higher dependency on external partners. Now, we can recommend use a hybrid model. Keep tea processing in-house to ensure quality and brand consistency, while outsourcing packaging and non-core functions to reliable partners for cost efficiency. All right, we made it to the conclusion. So the main problem that Tehindo's growing complexity makes its supply chain vulnerable to volatility, inefficiency, and poor coordination. Uh, the solution is that multiple strategies exist, from reactive fixes to long-term transformations. Now, it is the last recommendation is to build resilience by improving demand forecasting, integrating IT systems, balancing vertical integration with outsourcing, and reducing information distortion. With these changes, it's guaranteed that Tehindo can transform its supply chain into a sustainable competitive advantage. All right, we came to the end. And thank you for listening and to stay with this presentation. Mahalo.